Assalamu alaikum viewers, welcome once again to your favorite talk show segment of What's Up Doha with me, your host Zunira Malik. Viewers, it is oftenly believed and said that a child without education is just like a bird without wings. Education is a basic human right of every individual. It is hard to believe that even in some developed nation exists visible amount of children who can't go to school due to various different reasons. And amongst them exist those with special needs or learning difficulties. My guests today are two incredible Doha-born beauties inside and out who took the initiative and the responsibility for such a great cause, which is to provide education for special needs children existing in the Pakistani community Doha. They are the founder of PSNC Qatar. It is truly an honor for me to have them on my show today. So let's welcome Nawaal and Bushra Resham. So Assalamu alaikum Nawaal and Bushra.
Wa alaikum salam.
Welcome to my show first of all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I would like to start, can you introduce yourself first?
So I'm Nawaal and I was born and brought up here in Doha. I went to high school over here. And after high school, I went to Canada for higher studies. I did my bachelor's in health sciences and followed by my master's in health and aging. It was more on health, the social aspects of health and aging within the Canadian society, but my thesis was on autism and the difficulties and issues that families with autism have in seeking some of the facilities provided there in Canada. So I think that would add to my bit of how I started my journey into special needs education and promoting a whole opportunity for special needs.
Okay, what about you, Bushra?
Bushra Resham is my name. I did my schooling here in Qatar in Pakistan Education Center. Then I went back to Pakistan. I did my bachelor's in business studies and had my last year as majors in HR. After that, I came back to Qatar and was looking towards a job, but special needs is kind of part of my life because I have a sibling who's having Down syndrome. She's a 16-year-old sister of mine. There has been a time when me and her, we have been friends since school, so we have been talking a lot about special needs and about how the education has to be for them, what are their rights in terms of education. So there was a point where we realized that, okay, it's enough to, looking towards others, let's start doing something of our own. So that was the part where we both got together and we thought of, getting into special needs and doing something about their education.
Okay, but Nawaal, as far as I know, Qatar has schools for special needs children.
Exactly.
Because there is a really major amount of kids here with special needs.
Well, yes, exactly. That's what we were kind of, we were surprised that Qatar does promote special needs education. But why is it still that a lot of the, a lot of members of the community, whether it's Pakistani or any other expatriate community, still do not send their children out of school? So this was part of our research, and we found that there are two major organizations here in Qatar that deal with special needs children. But there's still this gap that they're not able to address the whole community. One is that the language of instructions in Arabic.
English,
the government organizations are Arabic, mostly the language of instruction. So that's that
basically everything is for Arabs and
yes,
what about the
everything.
other nationalities?
For other nationalities, there are private institutions, so that those are not government, they're private institutions, and the major issue with those are the expenses. For just imagine a middle-class family with 4 kids, one being special, it's hard for them to pay something among 3,000 to 5,000 riyals every month for that child.
Exactly.
What we found was the language issue, and the other was the expenses. So these are the two barriers that are keeping special children out of school.
That is true. Bushra, you said your sister is 16 years by now.
Yeah.
So until 16 years, how did you accommodate her with the education and all?
Truly speaking, one more point that when we got to know about, when we were doing our research, one more point was a lack of awareness as well. There are many parents who do not know where to go, who do not know how to deal with a child with special needs. That was kind of case with our family as well. I was quite young when she was born, so I also didn't know that she was special. I got to know when I was, I guess, in college or in university that, oh, she's special and she has to be dealt in a different way. Her education has to be different. We tried to push her into schools that are mainstream schools. We tried to put her into towards the ladies who teach students at home, so that she starts with the basic writing and reading. It did help her, but as none of those parties, us or the tuition teachers or the schools, have awareness about how special education is and how you go about teaching a student with special needs, none of those efforts quite bring out those fruitful results which was needed for her. So a couple of years got wasted into that. When she finally got into a special school, she was around 11 or 12. So you have seen that at least 12 years of her life were gone, which were basic, basic education time period and where the foundation is built. So then she went into a special school, which was expensive for me or for our family in terms of finances, if we talk about. She got good with time. She spent around 5 years in that private school.
Okay.
And she did progress, but the thing is that there was a language barrier. The medium that they were using were English. See, she was at home for 12 years and she was communicating in Urdu. So that language was acting as a barrier for her to get educated. And also because she was not getting educated that quickly, and the amount that we were paying for that was too much for us. So what we had to do is we have to get her back into home, and we homeschooled her for a couple of years.
Okay.
That was a time period when we actually started discussing, and we thought that let's do something because there is a niche.
Yeah. Why did you thought of only Pakistanis? Because you thought that only this community is surviving due to this problem.
Yeah, well, to just continue from what she said, we named it Pakistan Special Needs Community because we wanted to target this community first. Because again, we know that there's a need in the bigger population of Qatar, but there is a major need in the Pakistani community because we, growing up in this community, know how things work, know what is this level of awareness among families regarding special needs. We have 4 schools over here. Mostly at the time when we started our observation, none of the 4 schools have actually started with the special needs education, or not formally started with special needs education. They might help somewhere, in some cases, but not formally started it.
Okay.
So where other schools had special education support.
What about
systems.
Indian community? And
Indian communities do.
What research have you done for other communities?
Well, like I mentioned earlier, that the private schools are mostly owned by Indians.
Okay.
So you've got the Indian community covered with private schools, and you've got the Arab community covered with in their schools. They have special education support units. In the international community, like the British schools and American schools, they have SEN support units. SEN, like special education needs support units within their school. So what they do is actually really great, that they enroll any child with special needs, make the child study with other kids in mainstream, but whenever the child needs help, he or she is shifted into SEN. So you're doing it both ways. You're even giving them special support, and you're even keeping them in mainstream. This was kind of something which is lacking in the Pakistani community. So we started that, we thought that we'll start with the Pakistani community, we'll target that community, so that when about the Pakistani community, like most of us would know about it, that when they see something attached to Pakistan, they're more comfortable in coming out. If it's another, if we just made it general by the name, they would be a bit, they'll think twice before coming out, that I don't know if I should approach them, they're different from us.
Because it has to be in their comfort level.
Yes, exactly. We wanted to meet their comfort level. But I would like to mention that even after calling it Pakistan Special Needs Community, that's the name of the community that has 2 goals of creating awareness and creating opportunities for special education. But when we started our special education, the whole program, we called our program Special Education Project Qatar. So that's the name of the program, the Special Education Program, which comes inside, under the umbrella of PSNC. We named it, after Qatar because we wanted to include all other communities. So if there's an Indian or Bangladeshi or Sri Lankan or any other expatriate, community who wants their child to come and get educated, and they face the same issues like finances and language, they're most welcome to come to us.
Okay, that's great. So when both of you thought about this cause, and I know which is not an easy task to do, what was the vision behind it?
We had this vision, the broad vision, due to under which we started our our goals under it. The main vision was to bring out all of the out-of-school special children into the school system, and making education affordable as well as quality education to them.
And during your journey, I'm sure you would love to mention the names of those who stand out of the norms and helped you out and supported you throughout. So would you like to mention somebody.
Yeah, sure. We would love to use this platform to actually, call out the names who actually, went out of their way to help us. We did have a lot of people, when we when we created a social media page, we did have a lot of people who came out. But then the first thing that I would like to mention is Mr. Riaz Bakali. He is a very prominent member of the Pakistani community here in Qatar. He is the owner of the TNG, the Next Generation Group of Schools. He also happens to be the president of Pakistan Welfare Forum, which is under the embassy to provide support to Pakistani communities over here. So we met him last year during a conference-wise here at Qatar, and he was kind enough to actually sit and understand and listen to what is our proposal. So he listened to our idea. He called us to one of the meetings at Pakistan Welfare Forum, and he just here's the platform. Talk about your idea. Mr. Riaz Bakali actually gave us, put our face out there in the community, and he tried to connect us with a lot of people. And so what happened with all this was that PWF, Pakistan Welfare Forum, actually, after a couple of sessions, after a couple of presentations, they actually agreed to fund us for a year. So our PWF is now funding our special education project, Qatar. And it so happened that Mr. Riaz Bakali, as owner of TNG, has donated us a space in his campus. So the whole campus is to our disposal, and we have one room in which we are educating, or we have started with our special education project with kids right now. So he is one of the names that I would like to mention. And I would also like to mention the whole of PWF, Pakistan Welfare Forum, as a team. Like there is Ahmed Hussain Saab in one of actually the starters of PWF. So he was also always there for us and helped us in whatever it is that we have achieved.
And there were many other people as well who came out who didn't belong to our community as well, but they were into the field and they wanted to help us in any way. So we met a lady, her name is Fatma Janju, and she has helped us a lot in building the assessments and the tools that we need to use in the beginning when we're having the children on board in our school. Also, there have been many other community members such as teachers, there had been TAs, there had been psychologists, so a group of friends who have helped us in arranging activities such as sports camp or an arts activity.
So now let's talk about the hardships that you faced.
Trying to understand and talk to them according to their mindset, according to their values, and making them feel comfortable, and creating the same level of conversation where they understand what your point is and you understand what the problem is. So that was kind of an issue, but as soon as we got the hang of it, then we were okay with it.
I'm sure you have done your research and studies on these kids, but what is the difference between autism kids and kids with learning difficulties, or how do you differentiate, and how many kind of what do you call it,
the
cases
needs,
you have
needs or something? There are different I would say there are various kinds, and there are various levels in every kind as well.
But how do you differentiate, and how do you know that this kid needs this much?
Yes, some conditions are by birth, some conditions are genetics. For example, Down syndrome. So before the child is born, you know that the child will have Down syndrome. So there are other some of the conditions, like autism is one of the conditions, and dyslexia also is one of the conditions. Is when the child goes to school, the teacher can be one of the individuals who can observe that this child is having trouble. Autistic children have the social issues, they have communicating issues, they might have sensory issues, and they might not be comfortable sitting or standing. So there are different conditions, and one has to go really in great detail in order to understand each and every one. From the awareness point of view, anyone should not either underestimate them or should not think that, okay, maybe he or she is not capable of doing whatever the other person is. So each and every child, just like any other kid, they have the set of capabilities, they have their set of problems. You just need to understand that particular child, irrelevant of the need that they have, and according to that need, you have to address that child.
Coming back to your question about how we, deal with them, how we differentiate, is that so for example, because we welcome anyone, whether he or she is diagnosed or not diagnosed, we welcome anyone with the parents have some doubts or concerns that, okay, my child is not doing well in mainstream school, could you see what the issue is, or could you see what the matter is? So first the process of how we take in kids is a lengthy one. So we ask for all the medical documents. So if the child is diagnosed before, then we go according to the diagnosis, and we see, okay, so if the child is, for example, autistic, so we have to do assessments according to it, and we have a generalized assessment, but again, it will be a different way in which we're going to make the IEP, the individualized personalized educational plan for the child.
In your class now, how many different cases you have, and
So-
how do you deal all of them? How many are there?
In our total network, I would like to mention this, in a total network we have 20 kids, but right now we just have 5 kids in our class because the rest are in waiting. We are still hoping to accommodate them as soon as possible, as soon as we get some help. So the 5 kids that we have right now, we have 3 with Down syndrome, 1 is diagnosed with autism, and the other one is, the 5th one is diagnosed with hydrocephalus. So they're all
of them are
different.
together in a class?
Yes.
In a class.
A lot of people have asked us, isn't this a problem that, you know, all of them, but
that's
again,
what I was about to ask.
oh,
Yeah.
sorry, I'm also
Okay.
taking a part.
It's okay.
No, but the thing is, first of all, we want to get out of the segregation thing. Like segregating people according to their condition is something that we discourage. Yes, if somebody needs extra help according to their condition, we can provide that extra help, and we encourage other people to provide that extra help, but we discourage segregating. However, there needs to be a similarity in order for the class to work as a group. So the kids that we have, the 5 kids that we have, are behaviorally kind of in the same category, more or less in the same category. Academically, of course, they're different because all of them have their different IEPs, but it's easy. We can manage them in one classroom, and they can socially interact with each other.
Okay, so now since when you have started PSNC first class, right, in TNG?
Yes.
So what are your expectations, and where do you see PSNC in next coming years?
At the moment, what we expect is that we have, as she mentioned, we have a waiting list of around 13 kids, and we know that we can accommodate them, and we have the structure that can help them. So what we expect right now is that we are looking for one more spot or one more place or location where we can accommodate these kids, so that they can be given as much education as they require at the moment, because they have been out of school, and we want them to get in back into the school as well. We are in talks with different schools, and we are looking forward into how to get these kids accommodated. In terms of where are we looking ourselves, PSNC is, we have this broad goal, and we have different areas to work on. We want to grow this particular classes that we have, as well as we want to grow the outreach as well.
The first day of your class at TNG school, how did it felt like? You know, it was such an achievement for you, both of you, because it's only a team of 2 who is working together.
I know, like I remember like the first day, so you know, it's something big that's happening in your life, but honestly when you're there you don't feel anything. You feel numb, and you're not actually looking at it. It was not like as if I've thought of it before, you know, that it would be like this, and you know, when I go in I'll be like, oh wow, I have you know, we've achieved something like that. But it was not like that. It was actually more realistic that we went in, we had kids coming in at 7, and we were all on the go, and we that day had 6 kids actually, not 5. And I don't remember sitting for one moment, like none of us or the teachers sat for a moment in our chairs, because we were so overwhelmed. We were happy, but we wanted everything to go smooth because it was the first day. So for me personally, it was very overwhelming there at school, but when I went home, it was like, you know, I was dreaming about this since so long, and it actually happened. So that is when this the feelings, you know, it sank into me that okay, so this is actually has happened, and
the dream has come.
yes, it was only after the first day was over that I actually realized that the dream has come true and everything. But alhamdulillah, after that everything has been smooth.
I just wanted to add that when they all came in, we were kind of mentally prepared. Okay, these are special kids. They might.
Were you nervous? Were you?
We were, and we had this. So we had all of in our brain that this is the most positive side and this is the most negative side. So the worst could happen is this, and the best could happen is this. So we had all of that in mind, and we were quite on a go every time. You do this, please. You do this, or leave this right now. Do this. So very much on our tips.
Kind of emergency situation.
Yeah, it was very much emergency. And
did you plan a schedule for that?
We did. And these kids also, they take time to, you know, cooperate with you and get along with you, especially in any kind. They, just like a normal child, just like any other child, they would take time in order to adjust with you. And some of them cry because it's their first day, and we're like, we want you to be happy, so don't cry. So there were many things that we didn't expect. There were many things that were very pleasing to us as well. For example, when the parents were very happy that they're sending their child, and they were calling us that how's she doing, and she's been very excited last night. So these things were really boosting our confidence, but at the same time we were a bit nervous in order we don't want it to do anything that could, you know, happen wrong or that can make the child not come again.
So I would like to ask you, what do you expect from our viewers, and I'm sure there are many people watching us right now who wants to add some value in this cause and who wants to contribute in some way. how can they help you out in this cause?
Well, the first thing that would come to my mind is reaching out to the community in a way that if someone has a friend or knows someone who has a child with special needs and would want some kind of help, so redirect them to us. We have our special needs page on Facebook. We can provide the link maybe later, and just reach up to us and direct those parents with their kids to us, and we can see how we can help them in any way. Another thing is, since we have started recently, so we are kind of working out with different resource materials and teaching materials with our students. And as probably we've mentioned before, that people are helping us with assessments and professionals are helping us with IEPs. So the resource materials, the learning materials are something that we have generated on our own. But if someone's out there who knows about such resource materials and where we can get it from or help us get it from, that would be something really, really helpful for us and the kids.
But what are your point of concerns now?
We also, if you talk about concerned staff, is one of the things that we are concerned about. As we said, that it's a welfare-based project, and by welfare we mean that it's not that we do not charge anything from the kids, but we want to make it as affordable as possible. It's part of our vision as well. But at the same time, we want to make it sustainable so that it runs for a longer time. For that, we are hiring staff who comes under our budget. But when we talk about the budget, we somehow limiting that professional knowledge that our teacher needs. So if you talk about support also, the professionals that are out there in the field who have knowledge, who have experience, it can be a therapist, it can be a special educational teacher. Therapists are of different kinds. So all of these people, if they can come up and join us and either train us for a couple of months, that would be of great help. So if you have if you have a person or a staff member who is good and who can teach, and just that training would help us a lot in order to make that staff equipped enough in order to conduct the class.
I would like you to give a good message to our viewers.
Okay, thank you. Hope you guys enjoyed everything. The message that I want to give out is spread the awareness about what you know about special needs. Get yourself educated. Get everyone in your circle educated and more sensitive towards children with special needs. Remember one thing, that what you and I can do is the same thing what they also can achieve. There's nothing in this world that any of us with whatever different abilities we have cannot achieve. So there's a phrase that we both work with in school, is that share our similarities and celebrate our differences. So this is one of the mottos that we work with.
Yeah, and I would first want to thank all the people who have been supporting us, and if there's anyone else out there who want to play the part, you are most welcome, and it should be taken up as a responsibility that each one of us has a responsibility towards the society. So if you feel like coming out, come out to us, join our hands, and we can make a difference, a good change in the society, inshallah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So viewers, this was Bushra and Nawal with us today, spreading awareness in the society and making a difference, enlightening hope in many hearts. Such an inspirational individuals, I must say. Before I leave you, I would like to add at the end that do not always wait for a change. Be a change, take responsibility, and make a difference. That's all what I want to say right now. Don't forget to subscribe us on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. Take a lot of care of yourself. Until my next episode, goodbye.